Hey guys, welcome back to Adventure Camping. Tactical Nut here, and today we're going to be talking about the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 in M4 Steel Sprint Edition. So stay tuned. Alright ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and run down the specs on the knife. You have a 3.4-inch blade in CPM M4 steel, an overall length of 8.3 inches, closed at 4.8 inches, and a weight of 3.9 ounces. You do have an open pillar construction, and as you can see here, the lockup is a bit different than any other knife that I've shown. This is called a compression lock, and so got the little Spidey flick. When you want to close it, you will pull this to the side and then flick it shut. This has G10 handle scales. This is called a natural G10, but a lot of people also call it a jade G10. You have jimping right here. You have some underneath on the finger choil here. And I'll tell you one thing, Spyderco, one thing about them is they get the jimping right. In my opinion, so far, they probably have the best jimping in the business. And then, of course, with the Spidey hole, which I love, you also get the Spidey flick. So that makes this knife extremely fun to play with. You do have a 4-way positional pocket clip, as you can see here. And you do have a large enough lanyard hole that if you wanted to make a paracord lanyard, it would fit. I am not a lanyard guy, so that's why you really don't ever see any on my knives. This is made in Golden, Colorado. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. I got a lot of sun glare with the CPM M4 steel. And typically the Paramilitary 2 comes in at S30V, I believe. And so one of the things that is really cool about Spyderco, and one of the reasons why I love them so much, is they'll take a lot of their popular designs and do special runs of upgraded steels. Now this is my first experience with M4 steel, and I gotta say how insanely impressed I am with it. Literally when I first got it, I got it from a buddy of mine named Steve Condor. He gave this to me as a gift, which was one of the coolest gifts I've ever received. And I'll tell you what, I didn't know what to know about the steel, so I went and bought some manila rope. If I can find the video, hopefully I didn't delete it, I'll add it at the end. But I cut 12 feet of rope, 1 inch, 1 cut every inch, so 144 cuts of half-inch manila rope, and this bad boy was still shaving magazine paper. Now, since I didn't know what to kind of expect, that's all the rope that I had, and of course I used it before I had a chance to get any more, so the test was kind of, well, I couldn't continue it at that point because the knife had been used, but to make that many cuts and still be shaving magazine paper, I gotta say, is truly incredible. Now, this is a carbon steel, so it will rust, and I have talked to people that say that it is a beast for rusting on them. For me, I've not had any issues with it. I mean, carrying it in my pocket every day for a good solid, because I've had this for almost a year, and so I loved it so much, I couldn't carry anything else. It was so much fun to fondle and play with and use. I mean, it was just ridiculous, so I eventually had to force myself to start carrying other knives. But, I mean, used every day, and it was just like it was never getting dull. All I would do was just strop it a little bit, and it would take it right back to razor sharp. And so, I mean, truly impressive. Another thing that Spyderco did, hopefully you'll be able to tell, is they skeletonized the liners to cut down on some weight in there. Hopefully you'll be able to see. And so, for the size and weight, I mean, this is spot on, everything I could ever want out of a knife. The only complaint I have, and I've had it about any of the Spydercos that I've had, is the pocket clip. But they do sell aftermarket ones, which I'm probably eventually going to get. They're titanium deep carry. Because I've said, I know in many other videos, if every pocket clip I owned was deep carry, I would be much happier. Because I don't care that I have some knife sticking out of my pocket, but if I could have none and just a clip, I'd be even more happy. You do have a good 90-degree spine on here. So striking a ferro rod, it does excellent. So using it out in the woods, I mean, I've used it to carve, of course, opening packages, cutting up cardboard, food prep. I mean, I've used it for everything. And literally, hopefully you'll be able to tell, there's just a little bit of rust right down here, just above where my finger is. That's literally the only time I ever get any rust is right around there. But I can just use a Scotch-Brite pad. I just scrub on it for a second and it's gone. So personally, I haven't had any issues. I do believe they say not to oil these blades because I guess that will make them rust a little faster. And also depending on where you live, that's going to have some bearing on whether this steel choice is going to be the best for you. I have another Spyderco Military, an S110V, that I'm going to be reviewing soon. Now, if I could have this knife with that steel, that would be the absolute perfection, because that is even more amazing steel. But for what this is and what you get, oh my God, I can't tell you how awesome this knife is. And of course, since I'm doing the review of a knife that Steve gave me, I'm going to have to brag on him a little bit. Oops, sorry. He made some handle scales for me for my favorite fixed blade knife that Clyde Challenor had made. I've done a review on this already. This is called the MK2. And so he made some desert ironwood handle scales for me, and I gotta say, fit and finish are absolutely flawless. It is extremely comfortable in hand. I mean, it just fits perfect. And like I said, he is making knives now, so I'll give a link down to his Instagram page. He's not really doing custom orders. He just makes knives, and if you want them, buy them. So if you see them, I highly recommend jumping on them, because from the ones that he's made so far, oh my goodness, they are just amazing. And I'll just kind of run this through one more time. Hopefully this is focusing. The sun is coming straight at me this way, so it's kind of hard to tell. But absolute beauty and comfort all in one. So thank you for this, Steve. Thank you for this. I mean, literally, I still carry it off and on, even though I have to move on to other knives. But this thing is so cool that I highly recommend you getting one. Obviously, you can't get this one from most websites now. You might be able to get it aftermarket, so keep your eye out if you're looking for that. But the design itself, even if it was S30V, highly recommended, because even that is still an awesome steel and more stainless than this, so you would not have as many issues with rusting. But if you can get your hands on one of these, you need it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I said you need it. This thing is amazing. It's literally, I think, my favorite pocket knife that I've ever owned. And literally, it is so addictive that I can just sit around for hours. I mean, I definitely do it while I'm driving, sometimes just sitting around the house. And I mean, for as much as I do this, no issues whatsoever. And I have seen people baton with these in other videos. I'm not going to do it because it's a pocket knife, but from what I've seen, the lockup on this compression lock is strong enough to handle it on small batoning tasks, because of course, obviously, with a 3.4-inch blade, you're only going to be able to get through wood, so, you know, that's smaller than that. But yeah, guys, highly recommend checking out the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. I will leave links to what I can find, especially if I can find one in an S10V. If I can find it in this one. If not, I'll just leave links to the regular Spyderco Paramilitary 2, because you can't live without it. You can't. If you're a knife guy or a knife lady, you can't live without this one. This one has to be in your collection. All right, guys. Hopefully, I have convinced you that you should have stopped this video already and bought one. And also check out Steve Condor's link. His Instagram page is called The Condor, or The Condor's Knives. Yep, just going to give you one more look at it again because of how awesome this is. All right, guys. In the meantime, be prepared, have fun, check out your Spyderco.